Okay, good morning. Welcome to the third installment of Website Wednesdays with Elephant Web Design. If you don't know me, my name is Kaylee Nichols. You might be finding this on the Scrappy Mezzo YouTube channel. You can hear my dog chewing his bone in the back, and that's just what happens here. So the previous two videos were on choosing your hosting site and styling your website, and the first video was why you need a website in the first place. So today is going to be about maintaining your website and upkeep. So I am going to be walking through just making sure everything looks good. I'm going to give you a checklist for things to update whenever you have a new performance or a new project or whatever. And then after a gig, things that you should update, and just to give you something that you don't have to think about, because I know it can be a lot, and I see on a lot of singers' websites, it'll be like a year later, and I know they've sung at a certain gig, and it's not on their website yet, and I don't understand that. Like I said, if you watch the other videos, you know that I look up websites all the time. It's my favorite hobby. And another thing that I want to mention is, I'm sorry if the lighting is not great. It's really rainy today, and it's just really dark and cloudy, and I don't want to mix too many of my lamps and my natural light, because the lighting just ends up looking even weirder. So I'm sorry, and thanks for putting up with it. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is maintaining your website just in general. And I would say, depending on how much time you have to give to it, I would say go into your website once or twice a month. Maybe that can be like every other week, and just go in, make sure everything is just still looking good. Even if nothing's changed, then you know it looks good. Definitely be looking at your own website. Look at your mobile site, make sure everything is still formatted the same there. You just never know. There might be updates within a hosting site and things like that, and you just don't want things to look off. So the reason this is important is because your website is the face of your business. And so if you have this website that is like disheveled and like things just look really weird, and you know it wasn't always like that, then you definitely want to just make sure that looks good. I know I've said your website is the face of your business multiple times, especially now in 2020, where we are doing an all online audition season pretty much, and so you definitely want to make sure your website is looking good. So yeah, expect to check in every 2 weeks. All right, so the next section that I'm going to take you through is updating your website when you have a new gig or you're participating in a competition, and then things to do after your gig. I'm going to give you a checklist for both, and that is going to be available as a free download on my Elephant Web Design website, and then also in the description box of this. It'll be a free download. You can either print it out if you want, or you can just have it just as a checklist. It's up to you. So you can find that down below or on my Elephant Web Design website. So checklist for updating when you have a new gig or a new project coming up, whatever it might be. You want to make sure that all of your materials are consistent. So the first thing that you want to update is your bios. And I personally keep multiple versions of my bio because I've been asked to give different versions of it. So you'll have your long bio, and I also call it my website bio, which is going to be the longest version, and I guess however long you want it to be, but obviously like not a novel. Yeah, so I don't have a word count on that one, but that is essentially my full bio, the one that goes on my website. I update that one. And then I have a shorter bio that doesn't give quite as much information, and I usually try to keep that to about 500 words. I don't use this one quite as often, but this is the one I send in for auditions, because it's going to give the information in a more concise way, and if they want to know more, then they can see my long bio on my website. And then my super short, actually I have a short bio, another short bio. Excuse me, sir. Sorry, you can hear my dog in the back. My short bio is 200 words. And this is probably the one that I am asked for the most often. So I definitely always try to keep this one updated with just like recent things, like things coming up, where I went to school, where I live. I keep it very simple, and then just like a list of noted roles. And then there is a super, super short bio, which is like 75 words that I've also been asked for, and this is just for shorter programs, and so you definitely want to keep that updated as well. But just have those on like your Google Drive or something, and you can always have them, just update them all at once, and then copy whatever is on your website, copy that to your website. You want to update your resume or your CV. Obviously, I feel like that's what the thing people do first. That's what I do first, because it's just like, it's so exciting. The next thing is you want to update, if the company has announced that they are doing this show, then you can update the schedule page of your website. So let people know where you're going to be next, but just wait until the company announces their season and that you're allowed to post that information publicly. You want to update the mobile version of your website, which is something that I am still working on. So if I am adding anything to a layout, I always just try and double check the mobile version, because things can just shift and things can look differently on a phone. And so I just want to make sure that the layout is still looking good. And that way everything is consistent and your headshots look the same. And this is just going to help with your branding. And then if you want to, when it comes time to announce your hashtag thrilled to announce moment, then you can make some kind of a social media announcement. And this is something you can either make yourself, or you can just share it as a link from your website. Or if you want something that is designed, you can contact a designer. That's also something I do, is social media announcements. So yeah, so whenever you're going to I mean, that's a long list of stuff, right? And I feel like I see so many things that just aren't on people's websites, and it's like past the performance, and their schedule page is not checked off. And I've totally seen this before. So I just want to make sure that you guys are absolutely consistent in your materials. So the next thing I have is after a gig. So when you are done with a show, you might have some reviews that you want to post on there. So if you have a reviews page on your website, that's something you can update. You can also post that review on social media and share that link to the full review. If you have any recordings from the performance, if that's allowed, I feel like 99% of the time you're not allowed to show it, especially if it's with orchestra, but it just depends. So if you're allowed to have it, go for it. Performance photo. Oh yeah, if you have performance photos from the show, which usually you do, put those on there. Again, update your bios if you need to. This is something, like, if you have a lot of things coming up at once, then I wouldn't say that you need to like update it every time, and you can just update it after this chunk. But just don't let like a year go by and you're suddenly updating your bio for audition season. You want to make sure those things are updated all the time. Anything else? Yeah, I mean, you can post it on your social media, like I said. Oh, your past performances section, if you have this. Some people don't, some people do. It depends. Some people have their calendar for this current season, and then they have a separate page or just a section at the bottom of that page for past performances. And this is a really great place, other than your resume, to show where you performed things, really how often you're performing. And this just kind of shows companies a trajectory of your career. So if it looks like, I know for my, I used to keep this, but I was performing a lot of choral gigs, and so I just didn't want to keep up with it, and so I just decided to keep it to my current season. And then I just leave all of those things up there earlier in the year. So that it just depends on what you want. I just prefer not to have one. But yeah, hopefully this will help you guys just, you know, be able to keep consistency through all of your materials. It can just, so at any point in time, somebody who is trying to employ you can see what's going on, where you're going, where you've been, what you're working on now, and they'll get a very clear picture of what that is because all of your stuff will be updated. They're not going to have to search for anything new. Another thing that I wanted to mention was if you are at a gig and your character has an aria, or you sing an aria from that show, even if you're not playing that character, get with the pianist and record that aria because you're in it right now. Like, you have the musicality, it's in your body, you're working it. It's just kind of sit down, record an audio or video of it, and you can get going from there. So that's just a little tip that I like to do. But yeah, I hope this helps. I know this was very short-winded / long-winded this time. And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know. You can email me at elephontwebdesign.com if you're interested. elephontwebdesign@gmail.com. And if you're interested in working together, you can also contact me there as well. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, whichever day you're watching this, and let's get it done. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.